So what's going on? AP here, and we got a banger video for you. We're going to be reacting to the history of Easter eggs in Warzone. Now let me know in the comment section, what was your favorite Easter egg in the entire history of Warzone? Let go.
Easter eggs have been a super fun concept in video games, and Warzone has seen a good amount of them throughout time. But since we now have 8 maps, each with their own Easter eggs, I thought it would be appropriate to go through the entire history of Easter eggs in Warzone.
Long way, man.
If I've included every Easter egg ever from every map, this video would be at least an hour long, so I feel like splitting these up into parts would work a lot better. We're going to be covering Verdansk and Rebirth Island in this one, and I'm only covering major Easter eggs. That means hidden details and small references won't be counted here. Go ahead and comment your favorite Easter egg down below. Kicking off our list, we probably have one of the most popular Easter eggs in all of Warzone history.
Bunker 11. I remember Bunker 11.
Back, seriously had some zombie level of Easter egg
epic fights over there, man.
You started off the quest by picking up a phone at a specific location, then you had to listen to Russian chatter and pay attention to what's said. Yes, that's right, you had to translate Russian in order to continue this.
Easter
Once you have your 3
like
Russian numbers, you had to go to their corresponding phones in a specific order and activate them. This then allowed you to open up Bunker 11 at the top of the map. Bunker 11 was unlike any other bunker since it gave you an exclusive MP7 blueprint and had a bunch of ominous visuals about the potential destruction of Verdansk.
Inside Stadium had everybody
we were eventually allowed inside of Stadium to complete another Easter egg. It involved finding 3 separate.
It was a little underwhelming though. It was exciting until you got
there was a computer.
Right.
Once you're interacting with the computer,
the fact that it was closed off for so long
quickly that you had to memorize. You would think that you would just have to enter these separate codes as one long code. Boy, do I wish that was the case. Instead of that, you use these 3 codes to essentially create a legend that decompressed these 3 codes into a smaller code. Honestly, I don't really understand how it worked. It just kind of like did. Okay. Now you take that one code and enter it in the keypad on the executive suite level, where once again you're rewarded with an exclusive AN-94 blueprint, crazy loot like the minigun and Juggernaut kill streaks, and advanced UAVs. But another fun aspect about this is the fact that once you open up the secret room, fireworks go off above the stadium all around the perimeter. Show the entire lobby that you completed the Easter egg.
Yeah.
This was a very small Easter egg in Verdansk that let you open up previously locked bunkers that had elements and imagery from Cold War. Honestly, don't even remember how you opened these, but I remember it being really easy. Outside of the teasing and advertising for Cold War, these were pretty irrelevant in the grand scheme of things.
True, true.
This Easter egg will let you get into a secret subway station under Verdansk. You land in the city hall and interact with a terminal, then a series of images would flash with a plus or minus or an X afterwards. The image would correspond with an element in some of the paintings around the wall, and underneath said paintings would be in Roman numeral, which would be a number representing the painting. Once you got that image, plus or minus the number, you then have to do some puzzle thinking just to enter the code you already decrypted, which adds yet another tedious element to this Easter egg. You would then go to the Verdansk airport subway system where you could override the terminal to now take the subway to the secret location.
Like,
much the same
I feel like that is what Ergistan
is
like missing. Like, there is no life
exclusive blue, I
to the
also
map.
It's
just
creativity. It
really seems like a placeholder.
I wasn't going to include this because all these are really minor, but I'll go over a few of the things that are going on with this
event.
If
you look at the bunker
in Quarry, which is actually pretty cool and fairly detailed. Got a Leatherface ghost in the farms, skeleton arms in the stadium, candy bars and loot boxes, Billy's ghost in the downtown metro station, jump scares, and many more details like this.
The jump scares when they first happened, oh man. That was wild.
As a part of the 80s Action Hero event, Verdansk added the Nakatomi Plaza POI. You could access the vault on the top by doing one of 3
remember this.
There was one where you disarm C4 on the roof within a time limit. Another was pretty much a scavenger contract that gave you the key card with the last chest. And then there was another way that involved taking out AI in the parking garage until an armored AI showed up who dropped the key card. If I'm not mistaken, this was the very first example of any AI related.
I was just about to say that. This was the first test of AI we saw.
Once you did one of these 3 things and took it to the vault on the top floor, you were granted access to the room. But a really cool aspect about this Easter egg is that depending on which side quest you completed, it affected the vault you could open, and each had different rewards. Each vault gave you money and a field upgrade, but there was one reward that was exclusive to each key card.
It just made the game so interesting.
One gave you a contraband contract if you wanted to continue the fetch questing, and the best one gave you a specialist bonus. This was probably a lot of people's very first look into specialist bonus, and definitely was my first time ever experiencing it. It was seriously just a constant battle of who can do this vault first. Regardless, I think this Easter egg did a great job showcasing the specialist bonus.
Now every season it's just packet loss.
With Cold War, we got the new red door fast travel system, which is a pretty
The
trippy
red door
mechanic in
fast
its
travel
own.
system
And eventually
was
they added a
awesome.
secret door that you could access by taking one of the red doors. Once inside, you were taken to a room where there would be a glitchy
man,
chest.
this is taking
Once
me
open,
back.
it dropped
This
a
is making
cane
me
with a lion
smile,
on it. If you took
actually.
the cane to the graveyard and stood in front of this
How did
statue,
we
you could dig.
deviate so
And
much
you would get a
from
calling
this?
card.
What
I'm honestly not
happened?
sure why this Easter egg exists. It seems kind of random to me. I don't know, like if someone could give me like a lore check on that. Very simple, but pretty neat, I guess. Before we get into Rebirth Island, I want to apologize because on my thumbnail, I'm probably using this image right here. And I sent all my information over to the thumbnail guy thinking that this Easter egg was part of Warzone, even though it is definitely not. I don't know what I was thinking. I genuinely thought that this minigun Easter egg was in Warzone, but it's really just on like the trenches gunfight map, I think. So if this is still the thumbnail, I truly apologize.
remember
I'm not
this.
trying
This
to
was in
clickbait you
multiplayer,
whatsoever.
I
On to
think.
Rebirth Island.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, this was in the gun. It was a gunfight.
This was a pretty
map.
in-depth Easter egg
Exactly.
that was a part of Rebirth
Yeah.
Island at launch. You would find a briefcase which spawned
Yo,
in one
this
of
one was
several
pretty
random
difficult.
locations, which was always the most annoying part. Outside the briefcase, there were a couple of pictures of
briefcases?
locations on Rebirth Island. You then had to go to each location and ponder around until you found a code. This was another super annoying part because it usually was just like on the wall, like behind stuff, or kind of just like in a super awkward
Like,
location
look
that you
how
really had to
intricate
peek
this
around
was
for.
before.
That certainly didn't make things easy. Once you get the code in all three locations, you would
You
put it
just-
together and
you
go to
just
headquarters
saw
and
the
put in
time
said
and
code at the
effort
terminal
that they
by this
put
door on
in,
the main floor. And you guessed it,
just
you got
really
another
paid
exclusive
off.
blueprint, specialist bonus,
Now
foresight,
we
and all
got,
sorts of
like,
money and other goodies.
Temu
I'll go ahead and mention that in
Easter
Warzone
eggs.
3, you can access this room, but
Damn.
instead of doing all this, you just need to have 30 daily scans at the biometric scanner, and you
I mean,
also
look
have
at this.
permanent
We had to
access
look
to the room
behind
once you do
crates
that. Only
and
this time the
behind
rewards
walls
are
for
not even
numbers.
remotely
Like, we
close
don't
to
do
the same
anything
caliber
like
as
that
Warzone
anymore.
1. There might be like
Right.
one
Now we
gold
got
chest.
2B Easter eggs.
This Easter egg was carried over
It's
in
like,
Warzone
hey,
3 and is
get
done
this
the
key card
exact
and
same
you're
way.
done.
Across Rebirth Island, there are 3 different key cards. The Forgotten key card is found when you interact with the showers and
Yeah.
bioweapons.
So they brought
Vicor's
that
key card
back,
is found on the top
which-
floor of Grandma's,
well, like,
and the
this is
Perseus
it
is found in
now.
the building on the shoreline between factory and living quarters. Take one of these key cards to Stronghold in the same
Yeah,
fashion
but this
as
isn't
the
hard.
Nakatomi
Look, like,
Vault.
the
They
key
open
cards
a
are just
specific
there.
lockbox with specific loot
Right.
depending
Like,
on which
there's
key card
nothing
you
to
have.
do.
Which give you a ton of money
The
and an
like
added bonus of either a
the like
loadout,
hardest
advanced
part
UAV,
was
or specialist.
was like
This is probably
killing
one of the
like
easiest ways to
the
get
people
specialists, but still definitely
up off
wasn't a
you.
cakewalk because that was the
Yeah,
Forgotten
like,
key
there's
card, which is the
nothing
one in
intricate. There's
bioweapons,
no
which is
hidden
quite literally
numbers or
across the
puzzles.
entire map.
the golden vault. I
You
don't
make your way
remember
into the
this.
prison block on Rebirth Island and search every cell. On top of some of the toilets, you can find these little beepers, or maybe they're phones or remotes, I don't really know. Poke around long enough and find all 6 of them, you'll then hear a phone to start to ring. If you go to the center of the cell
I do
block, you'll find
remember
it, and
this.
if you answer it,
I
you'll
do
hear a
remember
voice
this.
calling out a bunch
Okay.
of numbers. Luckily for you, this time it's in English, so there's no translation
Yep.
necessary. You may not have to translate this time, but it is a much longer sequence of numbers.
3,
Enemy soldier nearby.
3, 3,
Once you have those numbers memorized or written down, you can go to any 3 of the locked vaults. Yes, that's right. You can use this on multiple vaults, which is very convenient. Enter the code and you're gifted
Like,
with
look how
another
much
vault
more
with the
effort
same
this
exact
takes
loot as
than what we
always.
have
I will say,
now.
I think this one had
Yeah,
a blueprint for
definitely.
a riot shield, so that's
Definitely.
kind of funny.
Warzone 3 mega.
This was pretty much several Easter eggs sprinkled
Yeah,
into one big Easter
even,
egg.
like,
you do
I
this
thought
in
this
any
one
order,
was
but most
gonna be
people would
more
start by
difficult,
landing
but it really
factory, and
wasn't.
at the bottom floor of the big staircase system,
But
you could shoot
this
this
kinda
crate
took
that will
me
drop
back
an
to the
ID
old
badge.
Easter eggs,
You
though.
then take this badge to the small
This is
building
the
off
one that
Harbor that
felt
lets you
the
into a secret
closest.
room where you can activate
Yeah.
a power
It's not. It wasn't
switch.
equal,
Then you
but
go
it
to
felt
chemical,
the
where on
closest.
each floor
'Cause
there
you
will be
had
a
to
letter
get
and a
the
corresponding
numbers,
number
match
that
them
you then
up,
have to
go
get
to
all
another
matched up on this
building.
control panel. And let me tell you,
So it
getting these
definitely had
numbers to
the
match up is a
throwback
pain
vibe.
because each terminal increases a different amount of the
Yeah,
letters, and it
this
does
part
not tell
here-
you which one does what. You truly just have to learn from trial
With
and
the,
error, and it takes a lot
water
of
tanks.
patience and frustration
Yeah.
along the way. Lastly, you go to Industries, and once you get to this table, you'll find a monitor with a bunch of data on screen. You would then decrypt each percentage from the largest to smallest to create one large code. Then you enter it on the keypad next to the sliding door on the display case, and then the sliding door will open. And that has some small loot for you and your squad, but what we're really here for is the button on the other side of the display case. Now, since you've completed all 3 of the Easter eggs, when you press the button on the
I think
right
this was-
side,
this
it
is the
opens up the
closest
display case
Easter
for the
egg that actually
DG58
made you
exclusive
work.
blueprint. Friendly reminder,
Yeah.
you have to do all of these in the same
Agreed.
game, so it's honestly pretty difficult. Definitely one of the harder Easter eggs on
Then
this
we
list,
gotta
in
use
my
this
opinion.
gun, let's be honest.
There was.
It was nerfed to the ground by the time we got it.
Just
True.
recently, we got a submarine POI that spawns in randomly. If you go in there through the top hatch, you can see a photo on a bulletin board, and if you interact with it, you get a calling card. That is it. There's nothing else to it. Just thought I would include because it's relatively new with the whole
That's
Black
it.
Ops
That's
6
it.
thing, which I think
That's
is pretty
it.
That's what I'm
exciting.
saying.
Also,
Like,
the Mustang
these
and
aren't
Sally
Easter
blueprint is
eggs.
staged here, which will give you the blueprint as long as you get a kill with it. For it would just randomly spawn in chests, but now having a guaranteed spawn for it, as long as a submarine spawns in, makes things a lot more convenient for the player. But that's every major Easter egg
Yeah,
on
they're
Rebirth
going
Island
for
and
convenience
Verdansk.
and
I honestly
not
think that we're kind of
challenging.
getting back into Easter eggs with Warzone 3, but
I
it definitely
hate it.
could be better.
I feel like
really
they
haven't
forgot
seen
that
much stuff
we
like
like
the Bunker 11
challenges.
Easter egg in quite some time, in
Honestly
my
do.
opinion. But go ahead and comment your favorite
Even
Easter
if
egg
we
in
don't like
Warzone.
challenges,
Also, let me know if you think there's stuff
that
that
gives
should
a
have been on
whole
this
new
list, or
angle
if I
of
missed
the
something
game for you to
entirely.
play
Let me
it.
know if you
Like,
want part
I
2,
wanna
and if you
try to
liked,
do
leave a
this. I
like.
know
If
it's
you didn't,
difficult,
leave
but
a
I wanna
dislike,
try.
and thank you so
Right.
much for watching.
Like, honestly, chat, like, I really want to get back to this type of Easter eggs, like being challenged, like the competition, everything, man. I really hope that Black Ops 6 and then whatever they provide for Warzone 2025 will do that for us. Because, I mean, they're bringing a lot of stuff back in BO6. So hopefully they're going to bring more intricate challenges back in Warzone 2025. No matter what like map it is, it could be a new map, the old map, just make it interesting instead of Urgistan. Like, Urgistan is a really good map. That's the crazy part. Urgistan is a really good map. It just doesn't have any life to it. Like, there's just nothing. It's just there. So we'll see.